So we looked at single atom ions like a sodium ion, but what are polyatomic ions? Let's break down that word. Poly means many or more than one. Atomic is referring to atom, so more than one atom. And what's the ion part? That's all about having a charge. So many atoms that together have a charge. So a group of atoms that has a charge. What might that look like? Well, that might look like the nitrate ion. That will have a nitrogen atom and 3 hydrogens bonded to it. And those 4 atoms all together as a grouping all have a -1 charge. So we would write that as Na for the sodium and NO3 for the nitrate. And we would call that sodium nitrate. So the nitrate ion is these 4 atoms that all together have a charge. What's another example? Well, we might have a nitrogen atom, this time surrounded by 4 hydrogens. And these 5 atoms all together could have a positive charge. And that polyatomic ion is called the ammonium ion. That is about the only positively charged polyatomic ion that we need to worry about for now. So let's say it's bonded to a single atom ion. Sometimes those are called monoatomic ions. A chloride ion. Okay, so chlorine, we said, changes to chloride, and we would call that ammonium chloride. So that would be NH4 with Cl, or ammonium chloride. So what are the polyatomic ions? Well, when you have more than one atom that all together have a charge. Sodium and the chloride are both ions, but they're not polyatomic. They're just monoatomic ions. So they're not an example of a polyatomic ion. What's another non-example? Let's say that you have 2 hydrogen atoms bonded to each other. You have hydrogen in its elemental state. That's actually a diatomic element. And kind of like polyatomic is many atom, diatomic would be a 2-atom element. These elements that like to come in 2s are called diatomic elements. So hydrogen is an example of a diatomic element. There you've got more than one atom, but there's no charge. That charge here is missing. There's no charge on that. And so since that doesn't have a charge, we would not consider that a polyatomic ion. So not everything with more than one atom is necessarily a polyatomic ion. It has to have a charge. Neutral water has more than one atom, but it's not a polyatomic ion. So the only polyatomic ions that we've got here are our ammonium and our nitrate that we've shown here. And so where do we find those polyatomic ions? We've got a common ion reference in the back of our periodic table, and here are the polyatomic anions are listed here on the right. And so there's a really big, extensive list on the right side of table F of possible negative anions. And then for the polyatomic cations, really the only one we really need to focus on right now is ammonium. So I might highlight that so I remembered ammonium, and then take a look at the whole list here, because we're going to just kind of be scanning down this list of anions to see if we have them present.